Okay, hi, good day to you. Today's topic will be on cells. Let's begin. Okay, first, why are we studying cells? Cells are the basic functional units for living things. If you are listening to this, you're probably a living thing. Okay, studying cells is the first step to understanding your physical self a little bit more. Okay, so without further ado, first things first will be understanding the parts of a cell. On the left, here you can see it's the animal cell, mostly in more organic shapes. This on the right here is a schematic for the plant cell, usually in polygonal shapes. Okay, first things first will be the cell membrane. Okay, so over here, cell membranes, they are partially permeable. They only allow small items to pass through. The cell membrane's role is actually very important. It separates the living interior from the non-living exterior. So if you try to equilibrate them, the cell will die. The next one will be the cytoplasm. Essentially, cytoplasm is the fluid that is inside the cell, and it contains all kinds of things, waste, nutrients, enzymes, water, really all kinds of things. So far, as of what I know, cytoplasm cannot be synthetically developed. Only living things can produce cytoplasm. Next one will be the vacuole. For this is just a storage mechanism, and in animal cells they are small and numerous, and they can float around to fulfill their purpose. So they store all kinds of things, nutrients, proteins, rubbish, waste, things like that. Okay, next is the centrioles. Okay, this is quite interesting. You can see that over here it's like forming a star shape. Okay, this star shape is quite ester, and they will be in charge of cell division. So you can see if the ester is forming, then the cell is going to commence cell division. Centrioles, they look like two chopsticks that are 90 degrees to each other. In books, they will usually be drawn like that. You have to imagine it's like two chopsticks. Okay, I try to draw it 3D. They are like 90 degrees to each other, one above and one below. Okay. Next one will be the nucleus. This one. Nucleus is like the headquarters of the cell, so all kinds of control or processes will all be held here. Important materials like the DNA, it will be held here also. Next one will be this sausage-like organelle. Oh yeah, and this word called organelle is just organs for a cell. Okay, next one, this is mitochondria. You can see that it has inward protrusion, characteristic of this look. And yes, mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Okay, everybody knows. Its main job is to produce energy. I guess this little dot here will be the ribosome. Ribosome is like little pepper specks that are littered all over the cell. Even though it's like small and it's represented by one black dot, its job is pretty significant. It's used to produce proteins, and proteins can be like molded and shaped into all kinds of functional tools and materials for the cell to use. And yeah, in fact, I should be drawing more. Ribosomes are all over the place actually. Pure science students, you need to know how to identify the rough and smooth endoplasmic reticulum, which is this, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Smooth because there's no ribosome on it. Rough because there's ribosome on it, so it looks rough. This one looks smooth. Okay, smooth endoplasmic reticulum's job is to produce steroids, fats, and plays a part in detox. So rough endoplasmic reticulum, because it is armed with ribosomes, its job is to produce proteins. So observing further, you can see that the nucleus is bounded by the nuclear envelope, and the rough endoplasmic reticulum is continuous with it. Okay, it's joined. Sometimes the rough and the smooth is also joined as well as continuous. Let's join together. Maybe here also. Everybody needs a friend. Yeah. Okay, this is the Golgi apparatus. It's similar to it's made out of like stacked, like flat disc shapes. Okay, and the difference is that the Golgi apparatus is like its own, away from the nucleus, and its job is to edit, okay, modify proteins. So proteins are produced over here, then they'll float, come out in vacuoles, and they'll be transferred over to the Golgi apparatus. They get modified over here, further folding, bending, adding of features like new bonds, new molecules, or removal of certain bonds and unfolding certain things. Then they are fully functional, then they pop off as a vacuole again and leave the cell. Okay, this let's highlight as something else, red for pure science. Quite a mouthful. Let's go to the plant cell now. Okay, so plant cell, they have cell wall. cellular cell wall. Okay, cell wall, because of this structure, their holes, their pores are quite large, so they are fully permeable. Its main job is just to provide shape and structure to the cell to maintain its polygonal shape. And next will be the cell membrane. So same, it's right under the cell wall, semi-permeable. Only smaller items can pass through. Contains all kinds of materials in this fluid, similar like animal cell. Next is chloroplast. Chloroplasts are over here. So you need to identify that it looks like that. Little coins that is out of your syllabus to know the name. Okay, so plant cell, they also have this unique feature called the large central vacuole. So vacuoles for the animal cell is very small and numerous, but for the plant cell it's like one and huge, and most likely it's pretty permanent and it's a giant storeroom. Okay, so same nucleus over here, and same mitochondria and ribosome. In fact, they also have SER. Next, we will introduce some other organelles that are not fully tested, or strictly tested, but it's more for appreciation. Nuclear envelope, mentioned just now, is the covering that surrounds nucleus. Okay, so it keeps nucleus separate from the rest. The fluid inside is known as the nucleoplasm, and this is the nucleolus. Helps in making proteins. And this little thread over here, okay, is the chromatin. It is the loose form of chromosome. So how I remember is that it ends with thin, chromatin, so it's thinner than chromosome. So chromatin is like that, thin thread-like DNA, then chromosome is the condensed version. In this chapter, you need to know the comparison between plant cell and animal cell, which actually is quite simple. No, if you think about cell wall, this doesn't have no cell wall, no chloroplast. Animal cell does not need to undergo photosynthesis, and plant cell contains chloroplast. Centrioles are present only in animal cell for cell division. Plant cell, they use other methods. Okay. Many vacuole, large central vacuole. Okay, so if you think about the comparison by means of simple organelles, then yeah, you can get this done pretty simply. You also need to be able to understand just three. It's just only three different kinds of specialized cell, and the examples are red blood cell, xylem, good hair cell. Okay, the job of the red blood cell: carry oxygen throughout the body. To do this, it has circular biconcave shape, no nucleus, so that it has more surface area to volume ratio and have more internal space to contain more hemoglobin. Okay, this complicated word is just the oxygen carrier, so you will learn more in the future chapters. Don't have to worry about it too much for now. Okay, xylem's job: transport water up the plant. So it must be hollow and continuous. Okay, this hollow gap is called the lumen. It's just fancy word to say it's a space that is continuous with the external environment. It contains no cellular structures. In short, it's called the protoplasm. So essentially, it's not much of a living thing. So the water can be channeled straight up, unobstructed, and so it does not have any living material that absorbs water, allowing the water to be transported faster. It is also supplemented with lignin. Lignin essentially is the wood of wood. Okay, the wood material of wood. So all this help the xylem to transport water from the roots to the leaves. Okay, finally is the root hair cell. Its job is to absorb water from soil. It has a long, narrow protrusion to increase surface area to volume ratio. And yeah, that's about it. Okay, let's see if I can draw it out. It's the side view, the top view. Okay, little depression in the center. Xylem essentially is just a tube, and then yeah, the whole thing is made of like lignin. inside here is the lumen, root hair cell, long protrusion. That's all. Okay, talking about how cells come together and work together, they form several kinds of levels of organization. So at the most basic is cell. They come together to form tissue to perform a common task. And then tissue come together to form organ come together to form system come together to form the whole organism. And tissue wise, you have like simple, you have complex. Simple tissue are same tissue cell type working together to perform the same function, and complex will be the different cell type coming together to perform the same function, like blood. There's all kinds of white blood cells inside, red blood cell, plasma, platelets, and things like that. Simple one would be like skin, tissue, muscle. Different tissue come together to form organ. For example, a leaf, xylem, fluid, tissue, mesophyll, all kinds of cells coming together. The heart, stomach, things like that. Many different kinds of tissue coming together to form these organs, like muscle, glands, okay, tubes, and things like that. Next will be different organs coming together to form the different kind of system. Respiratory, so you have like lungs, trachea, nose, digestive system, mouth, stomach, intestine, things like that coming together. And all of these come together to form you, yourself, or the whole plant, or an animal. And yes, that is about it for this chapter. Hope you enjoyed. Share this with somebody who needs to see this. And do subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.